10 years ago, all the countries across Europe signed what was called the Istanbul Convention, and this was designed to set out the human rights of all women and girls to provide them from protection against injustice or any form of gender-based violence. UK signed at that time, and then all countries were expected subsequently to ratify it, in other words, to bring it into their own law. We're now 10 years down the line, and the UK has not yet ratified, but it has said, which is really good news, that it is going to ratify it on the 10th anniversary of the convention coming into place. Well, it matters hugely to us because one of our key pillars is to stop injustice and another is to stop violence around the world. And yet we know that even today, 1 in 3 women will suffer some form of domestic abuse in their lifetime. And we also know, sadly, that during COVID, we actually had a second pandemic, which was an increase in domestic abuse. So the Istanbul Convention is one of a number of international laws which establishes how people should behave towards all women and girls, to outlaw violence, essentially. And this is something that we campaign for right across the world. Sadly, there is still a big gap between what is in place in legislation and what happens in practice. And that's why we're also very active in countering gender-based violence wherever we see it. And indeed, now having 3 countries major programmes ongoing to support survivors and also start that long education process to change the culture and reduce the risk of violence in the future. That's really important because the UK is saying that one of the reservations, for example, is that the legislation would not protect women of insecure immigration status. And that means that women who've come to the UK as migrants, who are already deeply vulnerable, will not be eligible for the protections which every other woman in the UK could enjoy. And we believe that's deeply unjust. I think there are 3 things. First and foremost, invite your MP to stand up for full implementation, full ratification of the Istanbul Convention on the 8th of June. The second is to continue your support, or to start supporting the work of Mothers Union right across the UK in supporting refugees, providing much needed supplies and support to particularly women at this most vulnerable time. And the third thing is to join us in our campaigning on an ongoing basis. And the thing that we're particularly focusing on after the Istanbul Convention is to ensure that the resources are in place locally to provide the support that survivors desperately need.